Hello, my name is Philip Corsano. I want to introduce myself to you and just give you a brief outline of my skills and capabilities. I have been involved in approximately 30 some years of corporate investment and project management at various employers, from IBM to PricewaterhouseCoopers to Morgan Grenfell, where I was an executive director. My first big job was when I was relatively young. I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers on the restructuring of the NI Group, which essentially resulted in that company having a complete overhaul of its financial return on capital requirements, and that essentially gave discipline to the management of the company to restructure the group, in which I assisted. I moved then to do financial work directly at Morgan Grenfell, which is an investment bank in London, and I was the largest profit contributor of that bank as the head of their equity-linked convertible bonds equity underwriting business in the early 80s to 1990s. And I then moved to become an entrepreneur. I set up a company from scratch using $200,000 of seed capital. It grew to a large company that was eventually bought out by Lehman Brothers private equity and is worth essentially $1 billion now. So that was a runaway success and demonstrates the value that can be added by someone like myself in a situation where you have a completely greenfield project. Then moved back more to restructurings. I restructured some large projects that had got into trouble at IBM in the former Soviet Union, including the Serena 3 project, which is the Aeroflot billing system, and was able to essentially reconfigure the whole business plan with many other people involved and the creditors, and essentially the project was delivered complete and all creditors were paid in full, which was looking very doubtful when I took the project over. I then have done several project finance type jobs with people like EBRD, MEGA, OPIC, and have begun to use my skills in terms of economic analysis to provide high value added input to management that needs to decide what actions to take in terms of specific business problems. I'm very sort of hands-on, very simple, cut to the chase. Essentially, I try to reduce things to the essentials, what the cost structure looks like, what the overhead in terms of fixed cost versus variable cost, what the business mix in terms of the revenues are, and how to maximize the overall bottom line with very careful attention to all the constituencies. And in fact, that is probably something which I've learned later on in my career, is the constituency management part of my job has been extremely important, and I think there's a lot of value that one can add with a bit of maturity there in terms of bringing disparate parts of organizations together to maximize overall performance. So that, in short, is who I am. Thank you very much for your attention, and I appreciate your interest.